Before I get into the video, do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. Now just before I start, I want to say I appreciate everybody that's watching these videos. Now that's all said and done, let's get down to it. So, the history of Active Gang. The origins of Active Gang has always been debated. A lot of Somalis who were immigrants joined or formed Centric Gang because they were drawn to each other after being cut off from the rest of society in the Camden borough and Greater London. They needed a purpose, they needed an identity, and after members left or grew up or got tired with gang life, it's said that Mitch and some other younger members of Centric Gang then formed Active Gang, as they mostly resided in Agar Grove, and thus the gang slowly turned into the Drill Collective when people like Suspect and BA and T-Scams started to make music, dissing their ops. And we all know active gangs are predominantly Somali-based units, and they are based in Agar Grove in Camden, northwest London, and if you know Somalis, they have a proper sense of brotherhood, so they take things seriously when one of their brothers are harmed. Active Gang mainly got their name due to being active on the streets, and its proof is in the amount of serious and violent crimes they have been involved in. One of the founding members, Mitch's little brother, was killed in a feud that spilled across boroughs. Active Gang's rivals, 51st, which are made up of Peckwater Gang, the Gxng and Cumberland, went back and forth with each other. Ironically, these gangs all live in close proximity to each other also, and at one point in time they were all cordial, if not friends. The friendships and the cordialness all stopped abruptly when a teenager called Mers in Camden was robbed for his watch. This simply stupid crime split the borough in two, so then Active Gang and Peckwater Gang, along with their accomplices, made it known that they do not mess with each other at all, and they says it would be on sight, and that's when violence started to spread, and it was very real violence. As far back in 2017, members of Active Gang were involved in a shooting of 3 people from 51st. Crazily, they all survived, but police did arrest the shooting victims because they were wanted men. And next followed very real retaliations, and that meant a man believed to be part of Active Gang was shot in the face and again they survived. The back and forth concerning the gang rivalry escalated, and that resulted in the death of Mitch's brother, his younger brother. Members of 51st went lurking around Camden and found Mitch's little brother on off chance. Mitch's little brother attempted to seek refuge in a taxi and begged and implored the taxi driver to drive him to safety, but the taxi driver refused to move. Now it's most likely because the taxi driver was stunned or shocked, or plainly he did not want to be involved in the beef that was going on. But that simple refusal cost Mitch's little brother his life. This was a teenager scared for his life and he was asking for help, begging even, and what his rivals did was drag him out of the taxi and then cut and slice and stab him to death. This was murder. Now sadly, Mitch himself was another casualty. A member of 51st called Flips and Mitch happened to see each other and the fight broke out. Remember, Mitch already had lost his little brother, was then stabbed in the back, the arm and the neck. Flips was so vengeful that he left the knife lodged into Mitch's body, and there it stood, and sadly Mitch was soon declared dead. This means a mum had to contend with losing her both sons due to gang violence, and Flips was jailed for life for the cold-blooded murder with a minimum term set to 17 years. Now, for a period of time the beef did die down. That was briefly, but that was because a lot of the gang members from 51st and Active Gang were in prison, and their associates also. But in 2019, when a lot of their members were released, the beef was back on. Yez from Active Gang was involved in a fight, a 20 vs 1 fight, in which he produced a knife to defend himself. Yevs says that he was outnumbered again 20 to 1, and he still came out on top. However, he was arrested for GBH after Nutty from Peckwater snitched on him. Members of Active Gang even produced paperwork in order to put a dent in their rival street reputation. And now, with members like Suspect, Broad Day and T-Scams making waves in the drill scene, the crimes they've been involved in only heighten their music. Young kids get enticed by the glamorized lifestyle of being a gang member and the ride-outs and think it's cool. They think this is a brotherhood and everybody will be able to protect you and you're untouchable, but it's all fake. It only ends in violence and mothers crying. It's only when they're on the receiving end of being chased down with knives that they wish they could take it all back. And that's the brief history of Active Gang. Stay safe, safe.